Why do you have... Nigel, please. Please stop. Please. Oh my God.
Happy birthday, bitch.
What's going on, Airsofters? I'm Diles46 here with my buddy Garber, and we are here for episode 9 of Diles46 Straight Talk. You ask the questions, we're going to answer them. So here we go. I know it's been a long time. I want to apologize for that, but we are back at it, and we're doing a speed round on this one. If I go too long, tell me, vice versa.
Okay.
Okay.
Cup of Soup from Instagram.
Okay.
What is your most anticipated event for 2015/2016?
Good question. I am really looking forward to Rebel Yell 3, American Milsim's Rebel Yell 3. They canceled last year because the AO Camp Gruber was going under some renovations, and actually they were adding some buildings. I loved it. I was there for Rebel Yell 1, so I want to get back out there and check it out and see the new addition, the new buildings. What about you?
I'm really looking forward to Ironclad 2 from American Milsim because we're running Op4. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It always has
Running
been fun.
Op4 is lots of fun for sure.
So that's it for me.
All right, here we go. From Call Sign Maverick. Question for either now or a future video. This is a future video because this is from, we're taking the questions from the last video to answer the questions in the new video. So here they are. And if you guys have questions, make sure you leave them in the comment. But this comes from Call Sign Maverick. He says, what airsoft forum do you most recommend? Any specifically good for KC guys? What about Facebook?
Facebook is where everything's happening now. Forums, unless you have a dedicated regional forum or state forum, whatever it is, isn't really good anymore because face-to-face value, being able to recognize someone's face and name on Facebook.
That is nice. Facebook's replaced a lot of that.
Yeah. So now Facebook's always been good, and it's a great way to get your name out and get pictures taken.
Sure. Not to say that there aren't some great forums out there.
Okay, I got one queued up from Instagram. Again, Airsoft DP. What real steel pistol would you like to see in Airsoft that is not in Airsoft already?
A real steel pistol. I'm gonna say Glock.
Yeah. Glock, honestly. There's a lot of...
Yeah, now here's the deal. A legally licensed and trademarked Glock. I would love that, and I would pay the extra $20-$30 for it.
Yeah. There's some stuff going on right now with Glock and its branding. They're taking Glocks off the shelves for obvious reasons. And it's hard to come by a nice Airsoft Glock.
It is. If you want an Airsoft Glock, the options are right now. It's all kind of like back alley stuff. Number one, I always kind of feel dirty. People always ask me for Airsoft Glocks, and I'm like, well, here's the deal. Basically, everyone got sued stateside from Glock for copyright infringements, and they don't want to have any Airsoft replicas out there. But if some company was to hammer down that contract with them and offer a stateside warranty, because right now, like, if you get a Glock, you're getting it from overseas or something, and once it breaks, it breaks. You know?
Tokyo Marui, a Wii that's old that hasn't been taken in yet, that kind of thing.
WeTechs, absolutely. The WeTech Glocks aren't bad. But anyways, yeah, so, and
a Glock.
aside from the Glock, I know we kind of went off topic, but I think most of the popular handgun models that are popular in real steel are already out there for Airsoft.
1911s, FN45s, all those different kind of things.
There. There's a lot of flavors of Airsoft pistols out there, for sure. I don't have any particular myself. I actually own Airsoft guns that I would love to own in real life. So for me, that question's kind of backwards. All right, this one's going to be from Facebook. Tommy Guerin is asking, what are some good upgrade options to get good range / accuracy, reliability, and trigger response?
MOSFETs, they do a lot. They save your trigger contacts real fast, from burning out after running a LiPo or nickel cadmium battery. They go out eventually, but that new bucking, new nub, all that kind of stuff that goes into the hop-up will increase your range, plus a nice inner barrel. Most competition line sort of guns come with a decent hop-up as is. You can only push Airsoft guns so far with accuracy. As far as reliability goes, it depends on what brand you get.
And this changes, there's always like a recipe every couple years or so, and that recipe changes, but it mostly stays the same. So like the brand names that automatically come to mind: Prometheus barrels, Miracle hop-ups, right?
Miracles are excellent.
Maple buckings. Is it Maple Leaf or Maple?
Maple Leaf. I think.
Maple Leaf buckings. I've always had good experience with the Mad Bull buckings and their barbell hop-up nub, but
Depends on what you have.
Again, a good tight bore, a good hop up. And then as far as trigger response, yeah, you know, MOSFET might help you in some cases. Other cases, there's guns from companies like Ares and Elite Force on some of their models that have the micro switch trigger on them, which is going to give you a little bit better. And then obviously,
if you want to drop a lot of money, you can buy a Camo MOSFET, which completely replaces some parts inside of your gearbox, but you're getting up in price.
Right.
But
and then, like, you know, the no-brainer is obviously a higher voltage battery. You're going to give quicker response.
going from a LiPo, from a nickel to a LiPo battery
Right,
increases it, but you're going to burn out your gun faster.
There you go.
This one's another one from Facebook. Travis Carver.
Oh.
Is it justifiable for a more experienced player to get pissed off at admins if they are assigned to a team of less experienced or new players for the sake of commanding and learning when it...
Okay, so I think what our boy Travis Carver's asking is it okay to get upset if you have to babysit? I think that's what he's getting at, basically. And then he said something about you're going to most likely lose the game and be dunked on from your 6 because said players are not able to cover. So it sounds like a babysitting question. You know, and I think this is kind of, I hear a lot of this, especially some games, some even bigger ops, where they'll stop the game to kind of like back one team off. Devil's advocate, look at the other side of the spectrum on it. So if you want to have an enjoyable game, again that's going to last, and again that's going to be fun, and maybe next time you come out there have a little bit more competition, then babysitting kind of goes hand in hand with mentoring and kind of showing the new guys the ropes. On the other hand, yeah, I understand it can get old, and yeah, you could probably get upset about that for sure, but again, the other side of the spectrum is if you just want to totally dunk on another team full of new people and every game is literally over within 1 minute and then you're just going around like patting yourself on the back like, oh hell yeah, dunked on in 1 minute, and you do that, like, how much fun is that? So
I mean, you gotta look at it from you're raising the new generation up. That's what it is, essentially. If you teach a kid to pie a corner, he's gonna teach his friends how to pie a corner, and so on and so forth. But to me, it's more or less balancing a team. If I have 30 ex-Milsim people on one team and a bunch of guys with clear guns on
well,
the
and
other.
I think also too there's a place and time for it. Obviously, at your weekend pickup game, that's probably going to be the place for you getting stuck with, you know, lesser skilled players, so you can kind of show them the ropes. At a bigger event, at an op, something like that, then yeah, I say that's not the place or time for that type of stuff.
What's fun for you?
What is fun for you? What do you like to do for fun? You know what? I'm not going to ask that. Don't answer that. Here we go. I got one for you. This is from Justin Dawkins. Justin Dawkins. This one comes from Facebook. He's asking, who's better, really, Cost or UFS?
I mean, it's a color, dude. It's a color.
Yeah.
It comes down to who are you playing with.
Awesome guys on both sides, man. I've got personal friends on Cost and UFS side. I typically play Cost. I typically play Cost, but
most Kansas City people do.
A lot of guys do. But in the future, I plan on maybe dabbling, oh my god, in the UFS side, just because it is just a color, and I think to really get enjoyment,
gotta get both flavors of each side. I mean, there are different command stuff on each side, and what it comes down to is it's a color.
Yeah. Again, going back to, you know, having fun for sure. I think some people get caught up too much in the storyline and the team thing, and I think that's cool, man, you know, go team, but at the same time, like, dude.
The rebels versus the oppressors,
right,
whatever
man,
you want to call it, it's all the same stuff.
Just have fun. But who's better? Probably Cost.
Cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cost probably.
Cup of Soup off of Instagram. What camo do you wear the most?
Me personally, dude, I've been notorious for like mixing and matching camos or wearing solid colors like khaki, coyote, or black or something like that. If I had to pick a camo, I guess I'd say multicam, just because that's my most current, complete loadout that I have. I like woodland. Yeah, man. I like them all. I don't nail myself down to one particular camo pattern. I like them all, man. Now, that being said, I like most all US camo patterns. I don't really dabble in the other stuff.
I like Cryptek.
You have all the terrible camo, dude.
I've got Cryptek. I've worn Cryptek a lot. I really like the pattern in it. Multicam's always good. Can't go wrong with multicam.
It's kind of a default nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this one's going to come off Instagram. This is from Kyle Ross 3099. Do you have any advice for someone who is going to their first Milsim game? What I always tell people is that you're accepting a little bit more responsibility on the player level when you're going to a Milsim. You're going to want to focus more on squad movements, squad tactics, type things like that.
Flanking's a lot more important than it is in an open play.
Teamwork is huge in Milsim.
I just recently got in to go into National Ops, and it's been completely different from open plays.
You know, working on a larger team level all the way up to like a platoon size element level and getting objectives done. It's more about that and less about lone wolfing and racking up, you know, your kills.
Extra socks.
Yeah.
I'm like, it can straight up ruin an event for you if you don't have extra pair of dry socks. This one's from Facebook. It's from Anthony F. Guerrero.
Yeah.
Guerrero.
Yep.
Have you ever thought about expanding Intrigue to a second location?
Yeah, sure. Is it feasible? Maybe not in this current time. When usually I answer this question, people ask if I want to open up a second indoor location, an indoor field. It's like getting kicked in the nuts twice. Do you want to get kicked in the nuts once or twice? Hey, you owe me money.
This one's from Facebook. It's from VinceMan. Who could that be?
VinceMan, our buddy from Elite Force.
Why don't I have a KC head or my plate carrier yet?
Why don't I have a KC hat or a plate carrier? VinceMan asks. Number one, you don't have a KC hat because anytime you're in KC, you never stop to visit me. And number two, or my plate carrier yet. So we were in a trade for a knockoff Cirrus or something. I was going to give him a multicam slick. Turns out I went ahead and sold that multicam slick I was going to trade you. So I still have your old vest. I'll probably just end up throwing that in the trash.
Dunked on.
Dunked! This one's from Instagram from DeltaCommand Airsoft. I have a CM16 Motto. Had one of those. I think you're familiar. I want to beef up the internals to a beast. Will that be possible, or what do you recommend?
First airsoft gun for me was a combat machine. As far as AEGs go,
Solid little gun.
it's a good starter gun. That's what it is. It's a starter gun. You're upgrading it. I don't see feasibleness in this. It's a starter gun. If you're gonna spend more money on it, save up, buy the next step up. Buy a sport line. Buy an Elite Force HK. Buy a Crytek. But if you want to upgrade it, new barrel, new stuff like that. Maybe
Little
upgrade
stuff.
the piston.
Okay, so
Engine.
yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing is like, I want to turn my gun into a beast. No.
Does it shoot?
Right. Yeah, man. A BB's a BB. Don't ever forget that. The other thing I wanted to get at is the quick and easy upgrades. You know, as far as internally in the gearbox on a sport line weapon or things like that, you start pushing, they're going to push back. These things are optimized for their performance that they come out of the box as. You know what I mean? So, but high-speed motor is a cool upgrade. Increase that rate of fire or increase that.
Tossing some steel gears, that kind of stuff too.
Sure, maybe gears. A lot of times, a lot of these stock gears are fine, but type or barrel, making sure that your hop-up bucking's good. You might, replace your hop-up bucking once a year. Honestly, if you're down to like one sport line gun, and that is your gun, and you're just feeding it a good regimen.
Breakfast.
Yeah, good healthy breakfast of BBs every weekend. Replace your hop-ups. You'll actually get some compression back really quick, and you'll get some feet per second, and maybe some better range back too. So,
It's a good one.
yeah,
I kind of butchered it. Some
did
piece
alright.
of shit.
kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
All right, last question of the day from my buddy Jonathan Higgs from Airsoftology. Comes in with a good question. I'm going to need backup with this one. Is Airsoft developing into a solid divide between the speed softing crowd versus the Milsimmers? The same happened with paintball, so do you think it's inevitable for our sport as well? Seriously, go ahead, man. You go ahead. I'll play cleanup.
It's not a sport, it's a hobby. But as far as Milsim versus Speedsoft goes, they're two completely different monsters. If you take an HPA gun and put a blade trigger in it and cut out the trigger guard, not only are you making it less safe, but you're ruining the idea of a replica. Why would you have
Which
a replica?
Airsoft is based around replication, down from the gear to the uniforms and the guns. Okay, yeah, so is there a divide? Yes, there's a divide. Unfortunately, there is. I think it takes all kinds. There's all kinds of Airsoft for sure. Now, I'm going to go back on this because I've seen this a lot. Airsoft is not a sport, it's a hobby. Okay. It's also a hobby with rules, guidelines, regulations, winners, losers, rules, kind of like a sport, and 2 teams. Like lots of times they're point-based objectives where the outcome of the team with the more points wins. That's kind of like a sport.
Not at Milsim West.
Okay, but I think what that goes back on is the difference between how the game's played. I think the big divide comes when a Milsimmer wants to go to a pickup game on the weekend and he's playing with a lot of speed softers. No team tactics going on. So yeah, there's going to be some conflicts of interest. You know what I mean? Now, one person's fun is not somebody else's fun.
If you look at the history of paintball, there's a lot that you can see is
Woods
developing.
ball into speedball, yeah, which is speed softing. That's a play on the word speedball, sure.
How many BBs can you shoot in 30 seconds?
Right.
That kind of thing.
I'm not a big fan of that.
There's nothing more satisfying in the world than coming up and just one-shotting someone. Like,
Yeah.
with any weapon. It's ridiculously awesome to do.
Fun to me, personally, and this is coming from a guy that runs an indoor CQB field, fun to me is using tactics, pieing a corner, and getting that 1 kill shot off on somebody. That's more fun to me than it is dumping 10, 20 rounds as I'm bunkering some poor new kid, you know what I mean? Bunkering, paintball word.
And it also, it's kind of a safety thing with speedball. If you dump half a mag into a dude, there's going to be a lot of whelps and a lot of
That gets pretty
pain.
wild, yeah, absolutely. Overshooting in paintball, just like in airsoft, is an issue for sure. And we've seen a lot of instances of overshooting in airsoft. That's unfortunately given the speed softening crowd a bad rap. So
Bad things happen from overshooting kids.
it's true. So yeah, it's inevitable. I think it's already there. But at the same time, I don't think it's like a deal breaker. You know what I mean? We can coexist. It's fine. I don't play speedsoft myself.
I don't have an HPA gun, never will.
I don't like HPA guns myself either.
There's a lot of reasons behind it. Main reason, I don't like hoses, and I don't like having...
All right, there you go, guys. That's going to wrap up episode 9. Episode 9 for Diles46 Straight Talk. Make sure you guys are leaving your questions in the comments below, and we'll make sure to get to them next time. For myself, Diles46, and Mr. Garber, we thank you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, this is Diles46, and you're watching unicorns and stuff. Except for unicorns, I'm really tired. Yours says battery.